managed to read 11 books, 10 of which I read before the off-campus show came out. I actually was so obsessed with that show. I rewatched it 3 times. I could not stop thinking about it. So it was a little bit of a slumpy month for me. I'm gonna do something a little bit different this month. Out of the 11 books that I read, 10 of which were before the show came out. 6 of those were part of a series. So I actually only read 6 different books. I'm gonna rank all these books from my least favorite to my favorite. Let's get into it. In 6th place is the book called Driven. This was actually a debut novel and it was an arc I received from Hachette. I really enjoyed this book. It was street racing, brother's best friend. I think the reason that I had to put this last is definitely because the majority of what I did enjoy about this book was the novelty of the fact that it was street racing and a motocross romance, and because I haven't read a motocross romance, I found that really fun. I loved all the scenes where she was racing and she was beating the misogynistic men who just looked down on her, but in terms of like the actual story itself, I didn't really connect with her. I didn't really connect with him. I don't really remember much about their romance. And to be honest, now that I'm thinking about it, I can't even remember their names. So I feel like that does probably say a little bit about my experience. I did end up rating this a 3.75 stars. It was enjoyable. The past and present timelines kept me hooked. So I was intrigued about how it was gonna end. So I did really enjoy it, but it did have to be last. Okay, in 5th place was Fever Dream by Elsie Silver. I was actually so unbelievably excited for this release. Elsie Silver, I genuinely love that woman so much. Kate Eaton in her book Heartless is genuinely one of my favorite MMCs that I have ever read about. I absolutely love that book. The premise of this book and the reality dating show was so intriguing to me. This was actually the only book that I was able to read after rewatching Off Campus 3 times. There was definitely reason to pick it up. I really loved Julia as a character. I really loved Emmett as a character. I love a misunderstood man. I had to rate it a 4 stars, and it's really hard to put my finger on why. There was a really hot scene where I thought, yeah, he's hot. I really enjoyed their backstory. They had met each other previously, but I don't know. I don't know if it was like the chemistry between them, but something was missing from the story. Something that really irritated me as well is something happened to her and he basically saved her, and the whole situation between him was that her brother and him were rivals, and I don't understand when authors give you this moment where the MMC shows up for the FMC and then we don't have the reveal where the brother finds out. I would have loved for Theo to be told what happened to her and how he saved her. I don't know why that didn't happen. I was kind of waiting for it and then it didn't happen. So I was just like, oh, it just felt a little bit anticlimactic that then Theo kind of just got on board and I was like, what? Why didn't he find out? Like, I know that it was her trauma and maybe she just didn't want to share it, but I just felt like that was like a little bit of a missed opportunity for Elsie Silver. I don't know why she didn't do that. But yeah, for the most part, I enjoyed this book. I would recommend it. I do think that maybe a little bit of my kind of like lack of connection to the story could have been because I was slumping after Off Campus. So I don't know if I fully trust that 4-star rating, but yeah, definitely has to be 5th in terms of like the rankings of all these books. All right, in 4th place, I read this book on my Kindle, is Midnight Message. This book was genuinely so much fun. It was a stalker on stalker. She is an author and she finds this hockey player and she thinks, oh my God, this man is exactly like the character I wrote in my book. So she becomes obsessed with him. Like, I'm talking delusional obsessed. She stalks him. She follows him on his accounts. She literally knows everything about this man. It is absolutely hilarious how delusional she is about him. And the fun component of this book comes in with the fact that he realizes and he begins to stalk her back. So you've got mutual stalking, and honestly, the spice in this book was on another level. Like, spice in a book has not hit like this for me in a while. I was locked the fuck in from that first smutty scene. I was like, oh, you've got me. You've actually got me. The only thing about this book, and this is why I had to rate this 4th in my ranking, is because I feel like until the 20% mark, this book didn't really take off for me. I know it's called Midnight Message, so there was just like a lot of messaging back and forth. Our characters didn't actually like properly interact in person until like 25%. So up until that point, I was like, all right, I actually just need more. Like, I need them to interact in person. Like, I know that they were texting and stuff, so I just felt a little bit slow. The start felt a little bit slow, so I do think if you are gonna read this book, please don't give up until you get to the first spicy scene, because from then till the end, I was locked in. So much fun, dark romance, hockey, spicy time. Genuinely, I would recommend. All right, in third place, so this is 6 of the books I read this month, is the Age of Vampires series by Caroline Peckham and Suzanne Valenti. This was such a fun series. I audioed this whole series. I genuinely love audioing these authors. I just think that the way they write is so perfect to listen to. But basically you've got a world full of humans and vampires have taken over. So the humans live in poverty and they're basically just used for their blood. 2 twin sisters, Callie and Montana, live in horrible conditions with their father, and one day they all decide they're going to escape. They're going to flee and try and get the hell out of there. In their attempt to escape, they're split up. Montana is captured by the ruthless vampire prince Eric, and holy hell was Eric hot. No one writes enemies to lovers like these two. I was so locked into their storyline. That was so fun. She gets taken to his castle and just like everything she goes through while she's living with him is just absolute tea. I knew I was gonna love him and his growth journey. Oh, genuinely amazing. And then Montana finds herself with the last remaining vampire hunter whose mission it is to end the lives of the royals. So they're on different pathways with different love stories and they just end up like connecting up throughout the later books, and it was just such a fun time. It's crazy to me that it's these authors' first writing because holy hell, I know that they went back and revised it, I think, when they blew up more. So maybe they added a bit more spice and things like that. But genuinely, 100% would recommend. It is definitely like a lock-in for 7-book kind of experience. And obviously there are certain books that are just better than others, as naturally would happen in a series. But I absolutely loved it. I feel like you get everything you want from a romantic-y kind of dystopian vibe. It was probably more of an urban fantasy setting because they did have phones and stuff. That kind of did take me out of it a little bit at points. I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of random, but you kind of just like get over that a little bit. But no, genuinely absolutely loved it. So much fun. I love the Twisted Sisters. I'm just going to continue to read absolutely everything they write. I did cry in one of their books. They're just, oh gosh, the emotions they make me feel. All right, and now we're coming up to top 2. So because I was obsessed with Off Campus and because Garrett Graham is my man and it was his season and the actor that plays him is so freaking hot, I literally can't. I actually can't even physically explain to you how much pain I'm in with how hot that actor is and how perfect he played Garrett. I went and I decided I was going to reread The Deal, and I went and bought the TV show cover because I was like, that's my man. He's on the cover. I need to actually own this. I have 3 copies of this book now. That's fine. So anyways, I decided to reread this and oh my God, am I so glad I did. It was so fun to be in Garrett's head. I listened to his thoughts again. I genuinely love that in this book, that up until the point where they first kiss, Garrett is kind of just like, yeah, like, you know, he doesn't really think much of Hannah. He just wants her to tutor him. They kiss in that first scene. And after that, he's like he is gobsmacked about how much connection and how much chemistry there was in that kiss. And I love that when she goes and kisses Dean in that little scene, that he is just so freaking jealous. Oh, this book was so good. And honestly, there are like quite a few differences between the TV show and the book. So it was really fun to go back and just like enjoy the book for what it is, because I actually just really love this story. I genuinely love everything about it. It was also really validating and nice to remind myself of my thoughts on Logan, because watching the show, I know that Logan, out of all the books, he was my least favorite man. Watching the show, I was thinking, Logan is hot. I love Logan. The yearning in the show, yes. I loved how in the show that they made it so that he had a crush on Hannah like beforehand, so he had always noticed her. I thought that was just like a really beautiful change, because in the book, and this is why Logan is my least favorite, in the book, Garrett introduces Logan to Hannah, and then all of a sudden, Logan's like, oh, she's cute. And then he actually says to Garrett, if you guys end, I'm allowed to go after her. Like, can we just like, you know, I can go after her. And Garrett was kind of like, yeah, okay, sure, man. And he just agreed to that because he knew that Hannah wouldn't then, you know, go after Logan. But I just thought the way that Logan acted in this book and all of a sudden that he was keen on Hannah, I don't know, I was like, what kind of a friend are you? Like, I don't know, it's just weird. And like, obviously going into the mistake, he kind of then realizes that it's not Hannah he likes, but it's, you know, the idea of a relationship and what Hannah and Garrett have that he wants. And then it's fine, but I just genuinely, the vibe I got from Logan in this book was, what the hell? So it was actually really validating to read that again, because honestly, when the show came out and I was like, oh, Logan, and then everyone was like, yes, I'm an OG Logan girl, I was kind of like, wait, why didn't I like him. Like, why? This book reminded me of that. So thank you, The Deal. Thank you so much for that. But yeah, I love him in the show. And I love this book. Oh, so good. And then that leaves in first place with the best book that I read this month. And oh my God, I am telling you right now, I was like 20% into this book already knowing that it was going to be a 5-star read. And those books are just the best books because that's all you want. You want to read it and just every single page like, oh my God. I literally stopped at 30% to message the author just to be like, this book is amazing. I loved it. And that is Quiet Obsession. Oh my God, seriously. Everything about this book, I was this close to rating it 6 stars. For so much of this book, I thought it was going to be a 6-star read. And then one thing happened and I was like, oh my God, I actually don't think I can rate it 6 stars just because of that decision. But it's still a 5-star read. I still absolutely loved it. It was messy, okay? This is a dark college romance. You've got our FMC and she's got past trauma. Something happened to her and because of that, she moves to her brother's college so that he can look out for her. She meets his 3 friends. Oh, and she's a selectively mute, right? So because of her trauma, she doesn't speak or she, chooses when she speaks. She meets his 2 friends, offers them a few words, except not the MMC Creed. She refuses to speak when he's in the room. So he doesn't know what the sound of her voice is. And he is obsessed with her. He has been obsessed with her for the last year since he found out she existed, right? So this is brother's best friend. I love brother's best friend. When it's done well, it is so hot. So he cannot handle that he can't hear her voice. It drives him absolutely mad. It was so much fun. He even orchestrates a chess game with her just so that he can throw the game and hear her say checkmate. Seriously, you've got other woman drama, other man drama. It's kind of like a love triangle situation going on too. Like, this book is messy. Go into this book and think, what am I gonna get? I don't know. But genuinely, so unpredictable. I had no idea what was going on. I absolutely loved both of them. I thought their connection was absolutely everything. He is constantly calling her baby, which was just so freaking hot. Those smutty scenes were just on another level. The miscommunication elements, and it's not like a huge miscommunication trope or anything like that, but the little elements of miscommunication, because obviously she doesn't speak to him for like a decent chunk of this book, just made so much sense. I was on both of their sides. I completely understood both of their perspectives, and it just, oh my God, like, no, seriously, I absolutely love this book. I'm definitely going to be rereading it soon. It's just one of those feelings when you read something and you just know, oh, this is that energy. Genuinely, I can't recommend this book enough, but seriously, don't go into this if you just want some, straight-laced, pleasant, okay, we both commit to each other and that's it, because yeah, there's a lot going on. But yeah, I'm so locked in. I'm so ready for the next one that comes out next year. It's an interconnected standalone series. You can read this as a standalone, though you don't have to read the others. This is the only one out currently. But yeah, 100% easiest decision of my life. This was definitely the best read of the month. So there you have it. That's my ranking of all my books this month. It was just a lot of a quicker month for me because off-campus kind of overtook my life there for a second. Not gonna lie, I haven't been in a slump that bad in a while. Can't believe I literally rewatched the show 3 times and then I was just going back to all my favorite little moments, my favorite little clips. I was stuck on Reels and TikToks, just some edits of these guys. Like, I cannot with how hot they are, but the show was just so good. Genuinely so good. I think I'm finally out of my slump though. I was able to start a book last night, so thank the Lord for that. Thank you so much for listening to me absolutely yap. I love you so much if you're still here. Feel free to check out all my other videos and I'll see you again next time. Thanks!